Yes. You recall this is the one that we started with for 2 years, and we continued it for 2 years, and what we're proposing is to continue for another 4 years, but the purpose, I think, of the initial public hearing should be to determine whether people want to go back to 2-year extension, or 8-year extension, or forever. That's the issue on the table, and we can be brief about it. It has to emanate from a public hearing, and if someone has to suggest it, or somebody on the council during the public hearing, and we're free to pursue it as you wish.
Do you want to go into it briefly, or?
Well, it's the same district it's always been. The Congregational Church is out, and I am waiting, the big piece there is the apartment complex, the middle apartment complex. I'm waiting, the previous owners had no problem with it. I'm waiting for a call from the current owners. Carlos has been very helpful in a number of things, including summer concerts. But I'd like to get his take on where he stands and how we can combine this advantage of this with potentially changing that site to MU1, which is combination residential and commercial, because they still have a power building in the back that hasn't been developed. But those two things aside, it's exactly the same as it always was, and it's just a question of how long you extend it.
Is there anyone else who wants to speak on this?
Here, 32 Greenwood Street. I'm here on behalf of the Historic District Commission. Jeff Harris, who is the chairman, wanted to be here this evening. He wasn't able to be here, unless that's him pulling in right now.
Let's hope not.
I do have a letter here that he did submit that the entire commission did review, and we were all in agreement with. I could read it for you. It's up to you. Okay. It says here, dear members of the North Smithfield Town Council, as the town of North Smithfield begins the process of determining the future of the Slatersville Historic District, the North Smithfield Historic District Commission would like to take a moment to express its role and position. It gets a little detailed here, just allow me a few minutes. From the early 17th century colonial settlement of North Smithfield, spearheaded by John Maury and Edward Inman, and the generational agricultural development and expansion of homestead farms by families such as Arnold's Comstocks, Smith, Sales, Todd's, and Payne's, to the industrial manufacturing efforts of Samuel and John Slater, to Henry Kindle, James Bushy, Arnold Buffman, Thomas Store, and the list goes on and on. Of those that have contributed to the history not only of this great town of North Smithfield, but also to the advancement of our great nation. Through the association and direct actions of these and many others, this town has witnessed the living history of its growth into cohesive representation through the built environment of the quaint villages we see standing today. Within those villages exist many of the landmark homes and businesses constructed and nurtured by these talented individuals. In essence, the underlying fabric that comes to define the charisma of the community and who we are today. The North Smithfield Historic District Commission takes great pride in serving as ambassadors to maintaining and learning from those parts that define our history and quality of place that we have all come to call home. But even more importantly, in serving as associates to the owners of historic properties located in North Smithfield's historic districts, one of their most valuable assets and the value it provides to the distinct character of this town as a whole. Since its founding in 1973, the North Smithfield Historic District Commission has stayed true to its mission to protect, foster, appropriate use, and enhance the aesthetic value of the multiple villages that make up our town. We will continue to maintain our stewardship as an informed, educational resource to help guide the growth in a manner that is consistent with the architectural and historical heritage and character of our small town village setting, to apply design standards and widen public knowledge and appreciation of such areas in a reasonable and flexible manner, to prevent the unnecessary loss of communities' historical features and unique sense of place. We believe there is an optimal and approachable balance to ensure compatible construction and rehabilitation in historic districts while not stifling change and development, one that enhances our ability to continue to contribute towards a healthy and thriving future for the town. The founding and development of the village of Slatersville is no small part of that task, and it remains as one of the greatest assets to the success of this town. As it has been proclaimed as one of the first mill villages in the United States, this village has set precedent for many other throughout this country, and now looms, rightfully so, on the horizon to be a centerpiece of the new national park. Slatersville is already recognized as a National Historic District with many more properties on its listing. But by having Slatersville as a local historic district with currently 19 properties, it has given the town an added layer of security that makes sure we learn from our past and that our past does not escape our future. Most recently, it has allowed the town another seat at the table in helping to shape recent negotiations with Rhode Island Department of Transportation, not only of the old Stone Arch Bridge itself, but also the impacts on the historical and architectural resources within the immediate context of the bridge. In closing, as is evident in many cases, there are two sides to every issue, and some may be prone to argue otherwise, but we believe, as has already been proven over the last 4 years, that moving forward with the Historic District and the North Smithfield Historic District Commission, Slatersville can and will flourish into the future and prosper without losing the historic significance that has been brought it to where it is today. While the North Smithfield Historic District Commission has no objections to and would fully support extending the Slatersville Historic District into perpetuity, or at least extending the sunset clause perhaps to 4, 6, or 8 years as opposed to just its current 2 years, we also understand and respect the rights of those property owners within the Slatersville Historic District to determine how they best see fit to move forward. Therefore, pending the outcome of this public hearing process and respecting the stakeholders within the Historic District, the North Smithfield Historic District Commission sees no justifiable reason not to continue on this path and would graciously like to continue our supporting role in serving the Slatersville Historic District. Sincerely, Jeffrey P. Harris, Chairman of the North Smithfield Historic District Commission. Okay.
Thanks.
Let me just add that Jeff is an architect and an incredible asset to the town in his role, and his role in general, commenting on a number of things. And it's especially important since we have just lost the Deputy Director of the State Historic Preservation Commission, Rick Greenwood, early death from cancer. The thing you should know is that in Rhode Island, historic districts are a form of overlay zoning, as opposed to Massachusetts, where they're slightly different from zoning. That means that if the Congregational Church decides to come in, we can add that as an amendment to the map. If you choose to do it in perpetuity, any future town council can rescind the entire historic district. So if it's in perpetuity, it doesn't mean it's really in perpetuity that you can't get rid of it. So it's much less of a commitment than you might otherwise think. Any other questions? Given the cost of advertising for this, and the 1,000 feet around us, fairly high density population, I would suggest that you go, the choice really should be between 8 years and perpetuity.
I'll be brief. I know how much you need to get out of here by 9 o'clock. John Flaherty, 10 Green Street, speaking as a resident. I own a home that's in the district. Just to point out that there are, the Slatersville district is the third local historic district in North Smithfield. The other two, one is the Blunders, the other is Union Village, have been in place for many years. They are in perpetuity. And I'm not necessarily arguing in favor of perpetuity, but the point that Mr. Erickson just made about the advertising, we do that every 2 years. It comes at a significant cost. And then, obviously, we use time of town council meetings. So I would recommend that if we are going to do this as a town, that we do it for at least 4 or 8 years, so we don't have to keep coming back. It's been in place now. I think this is the would be the third extension. This would be the third extension. So every time we do this every 2 years, there's a considerable cost to do it. So that's my 2 cents.
Good. Anybody else?
Hello, I'm Elizabeth Martin. I'm at 2 Green Streets. I'm also a property owner, and I'm also a member of the commission. And I ditto what John had said. I think we're pretty much all in agreement, but I guess I can't speak for everyone, that we probably should extend it beyond the 2 years, maybe the 4 to 8. Or 2 years.
I'm sorry, sorry.
Either the 4, the 8, or the perpetuity, but we probably should extend it beyond the 2 because the advertising costs. And I don't want to speak for everybody, but I believe most of the property owners would agree.
So, Ms. Martin, in perpetuity, we heard the town plan say that the future council could disband, dissolve, remove the historic designation. Would you feel better if this councilman, tell me how to vote this, would you feel better if this councilman made a motion for 8 years?
I could go either way. I mean, 8 years. I think we should go beyond the 2 years. I think, we've tested the waters,
Okay.
so we should go beyond the 2. And then
6 sound good?
6 sounds good too.
Okay.
But I just wanted to voice, I just wanted to concur with my neighbor here. And again, everyone should know I am also on the Historic District Commission, so I'm dual roles here. Thank you.
Mr. Erickson, why would we want to say 2 years? Why would we come up with a number for 2 years? 2 years seems so low.
Well, it was
Is there
a
any
test.
benefit of 2 years?
It was a test originally, but now I think everybody's comfortable with what it is. And, if you give me guidance for 6 or 8 years, I would come back with just one number change on that map, and we'd go from there. But the important thing is that this go as the first hearing tonight, so that the next meeting, we can do the second hearing, potentially pass whatever you feel comfortable with.
I have a further question. So I just wanted to make sure, I don't know if it goes to the solicitor, to the town planner. If a vote was taken for either 6 or 8 years, at some point, if an individual resident wanted to opt out, do they have that option to opt out? I know that the church can opt in, but can the residents opt out?
Yes, just as if you did any other zoning petition, someone can come in and say, I want to be removed from the historic district overlay zone.
Okay.
So hearing no comments, I would come back with a draft for 8 years if you'd like.
It's the council's pleasure.
I was leaning toward 8, but on the 6, I think we've kind of come up with a comfortable midpoint. Ms. Martin, are you comfortable with 6 or 8? Be committal.
Oh, come on, I'm not on the town council. I go, whatever, if the planner is suggesting 8, then.
Okay.
I like 6.
You like
6 it is.
6 is good.
You want to make the motion, Mr. McGee, for 6?
No,
Madam President?
Well, because it can be removed by council.
Yeah, I'm worried.
I saw what happened.
no, anything can be removed. Whether it's 8 years, it can be removed as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't like the term in perpetuity, but if you passed it, it would stay there until the council changed it sometime in the future, but it would always be there. We'd give people, notice, it's always there, and if people want to petition the council to take it off, or take their property off, they could do that. But I've never seen it that way, that's why I'm confused about why it would be, I'm not saying in perpetuity, because
That's
you can
the
say it
long
that
term.
way, but any future council can change
What it
it.
really means is you establish the historic district without an end date.
That's fine.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to make the motion, Mr. McGee?
No, I don't like making motions either.
Well, you actually don't have to vote in a public hearing.
We're in public hearing now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you all feel comfortable with no end date, that's fine. If you feel comfortable with 6 or 8, if 2 of you feel the same way, I get my direction.
Yeah, I don't see a Walgreens going in there anytime soon.
So, shall we
We're in
make a
public
motion?
hearing, so.
I'm gonna make a motion to,
No.
come up, close the public hearing.
Second.
Is that a motion?
That's a motion.
Second.
McGee seconds.
No, it has to be continued to the second reading.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So now we can draw.
Yeah, that's why you're the president.
Now we draw.
I'm
Because there may be additional information that appears after the first hearing and before you vote. Usually you don't close a public hearing until just before you're ready to vote and somebody is about to make a motion.
a motion to continue. You want to continue it?
Yeah.
What date?
The next one, 17th, yeah.
Yeah, motion to continue to November 17th.
Motion by Mr. Zelinski,
Second.
seconded by Mr. McGee.
Ms. Allen?
Yes.
Mr. McGee?
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Zalinski?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0 to continue to the 17th.
Thank you.
Madam President, you're going to consider this the first reading?
Yes. Back to make a motion.
I make a motion to consider this first reading, the continuance of Slade Historic District.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. McGee.
Ms. Allen?
Yes.
Mr. McGee?
Yes.
Mr. Zalinski?
Yes.
So this brings us to old business, which is item 9, old business item B, discussion by council, vote or other action on abatements reviewed by tax assessors board of review. And we had a list in our packets, once again, of the abatements. Does the finance department have anything to add to that? I mean, this is becoming somewhat routine at this point. Are there any questions from the council?
These are current year abatements. We were at 174, we're adding 12 to it, so we'll be at a total of 186, 187, somewhere in that neighborhood.
No, I believe the running total of the 174, 826 included the 12,581, is what I was told, that was the running total.
Okay. Thank you. Motion approved as presented.
Motion by Council Yazbek, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Council McGee, is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote please.
Ms. Allen?
Yes.
Mr. McGee?
Yes.
Mr. Yazbek?
Yes.
Mr. Zalinski?
Yes.
Mr. Flaherty?
Yes, motion carries. On to old business, item C, discussion by council vote or other action on authorization for funding RFP for engineering design at Branch Village. And this item was, you may recall, was discussed most recently at our August 4th workshop with DOT on how best we could combine several projects into projects that are already being planned by DOT in Grange Village to do the transportation improvements. And it was made clear to us that we have a much better chance of getting the transportation improvements in that district onto the state's tip list if the town took the initiative to do some of the advanced engineering work. And when we did the budget in June, we anticipated that, and we set a contingency infrastructure line item of which we've already drawn $31,200 from, which was for the stage 2 application, which leaves a balance of $83,800. And I think that the $83,800 may or may not cover the full amount, but I believe that what Mr. Erickson is seeking is to encumber that amount so that he can proceed with the RFP consistent with the resolution that we passed on August 4th that included solicitation of bids to perform design engineering, transportation improvements, and sewer installation according to the redevelopment plan. Mr. Erickson, do you have anything to add?
Well, what I'm suggesting is that we do 10% engineering design overall, but for the traffic circulation elements, we go to 30%. And that's where I would add that simply because the Brickell property, in order to develop, you're going to need a lot more traffic capacity through that intersection. And that's the thing that's absolutely critical, and that will make us look better to light out. Well, he was going to allocate that remaining balance of 82 or 83?
83,800. Those are the two items that we anticipated when we did the budget. Although I think we acknowledged that even the total of 115 was probably not going to cover. But when we compared it to for example, to the Situate project, because that was a similar project that the town collaborated with DOT on, and I believe that the design engineering work for that similar stretch of road was more than that. But I think that what you were recommending and what Mr. Gibbs from the redevelopment agency was recommending was instead of going to the 90% engineering, that we take it to a lesser percentage.
Right. And then presumably if that's enough to get on the tip.
But you want to be sure that when you go to RFP, that the town is actually committed to doing
That town is actually committed.
You can't get
Right.
proposals coming back and then you say, sorry, we didn't reserve the money for it.
Right. And whatever you allocate, you can always, the RFP will say that additional contracts may be, components of the contract may be allotted according to available funding. And we may get more than 30% on the traffic circulation. But I think it's wise to allocate what you have so that we can actually get serious about that location.
Mr. President, I just want to say, regarding the contingency infrastructure account, we did budget $115,000. Like you said, phase 2 for RIDE, about $31,500. We're also presenting you tonight with a emergency generator repair in the amount of $9,196, which would leave a balance in the contingency infrastructure account of $74,304. So I know that's a little over what Mr. Erickson's asking for, but there's also the regular contingency account, which after the forensic audit payments would leave a $125,000 balance in the regular contingency.
Speaking as one counselor, I would like to keep that amount that we've reserved, that we discussed when we did the budget for this, because we know that it's probably still not going to cover the full amount. Any questions, comments from the council? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to, before I do a motion, can I just ask the correct terminology in terms of, are we seeking to encumber that amount? Is that the correct terminology, or?
Yes, I don't know the exact purpose of it. Is it to encumber the funds so that you can go out, or just authorization to go out?
Encumbered funds so you can go out. You're not going to do an RFP without encumbered funds. That's just the thing, RFP.
So then I would entertain a motion at this time to encumber an amount of $83,800 from the contingency infrastructure account for the RFP as previously discussed and as identified in our resolution of August 4th.
That'll go over what, the line, where, just, I wanted to make sure.
And we'll go through the other things.
Okay.
So we have 74,
Pardon me?
We had 70.
74.
Right.
Oh, that, you're on the assumption that the item that's later on our agenda would be coming from that.
That would be infrastructure. But it's your call.
You have the other 125,000.
Right, we have a, that's not the only contingency
Right.
account that we have. So I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Zawinski. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'd ask for a roll call vote.
Mrs. Alves? Yes. Mr. McGee?
Yes.
Mr. Yazbek?
Yes.
Mrs. Zalinski?
Yes.
Mr. Flaherty?
Yes, motion carries. And that brings us to oh, I think we missed something up here.
One-way streets.
No, we don't make streets. Okay, I guess we're on target. I would like to, just in case the other, we have approximately 15 minutes left, and I just want to make sure that we've taken care of, there's two items on the agenda that I believe need action. One is under new business C, discussion by council vote or other action on award of bids. These were supposed to be done at the last meeting as well. They are listed as 1, police vehicles, 2, school department truck, 3, crack sealant, 4, Union Village interceptor cleaning, and 5, road salt. And I was entertaining
Mr.
motion.
President, I'd like to make a motion. We're going to do these individually, correct?
Correct.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the police vehicle purchase in the amount of $66,800 to NHQ for two new police fleet vehicles.
Motion by Councilor Zawinski. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Yazbek. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Mrs. Alves? Yes. Mr. McGee?
Yes.
Mr. Yazbek?
Yes.
Mr. Zalinski?
Yes.
Mr. Flaherty?
Yes, motion carries. On to the school department truck.
Mr. Lopez is here. It looks like, if I may, through the president, is the school department online with the 30,546 from Pasco? I thought I saw an email that there was some issue with delivery or something, but correct me if I'm wrong.
30,560, 30,546.
Yeah.
The school department is in line with that. The only problem is it's about 12 weeks out. So what I had done, and I probably confused the process and the system, what I had done was called the 2 lowest bidders to say how fast can I get a vehicle. And the tasker said they have them on their lot, but there's about a $2,500 increase. The other vendor never called me back. So I wrote it up with recommending to get the additional $2,500 to get the truck here in, 3 weeks, over 12 weeks, and 12 weeks puts us far into November, perhaps into January at this point, where we all know New Year's snow.
I'm a little bit confused because the memo refers to the Casco one as being 8 to 9 weeks. Did that change, or is the 8 to 9 weeks reflecting the additional 2,500?
That's the 25.
It does, okay, but it's
They
still,
they have one on the lot, they put down 8 to 9 weeks, but, vehicles never come in 8 to 9 weeks.
right.
They always come in 12.
But even with the 2,500 added, it's still a little bit.
Yes.
Right, okay. Are there any motions?
Well, no, According to the memo, it's 32,453 if you want 3 or 4 weeks, so it's 30,546 if you want delivery 8 to 9 weeks. That's the way I'm reading it.
$1,900 difference from the original.
Now, not the little bit of, because then stone them.
Right, it's the low bidder based on Storm not calling me back, telling me what they could do for me in a short amount of time.
Well, unfortunately,
However you guys want to do it, I just wanted to show that we looked at this as a package.
hopefully the DPW can help you out if you get in a bind, but I'm gonna move for passage on the task of Ford at 30,546. Little bit.
Second,
Motion by Counselor Yazbek, seconded by Counselor
discussion.
Zawinski.
Mr. Lopez,
Yes,
when this vehicle does arrive, can you assure that it'll have a town of North Smithfield School Department decal on both doors, driver's doors?
absolutely,
Thank you.
absolutely.
So we have a motion, a second. If there's no further discussion, I'd ask for a roll call vote.
Ms. Alves?
Yes.
Mr. McGee?
Yes.
Mr. Yazbek?
Yes.
Mr. Swansky?
Yes.
Mr. Flaherty?
Yes, motion carries. And on to crack sealant. We have a memo, yeah, that.
And yeah, so about the same cost as last year, if I remember correctly?
The crack sealing?
Yes, sir.
Same master price agreement as the one we just did in the spring.
Motion to approve as recommended by the DPW and the administration, not to exceed 25,000 at 26 cents a linear foot with seal coating 8.
Motion by Councilor Yazbek, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor McGee and Zawinski. Any further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Ms. Alves? Yes. Mr. McGee? Mr. Yazbek?
Yes.
Mr. Swansky?
Yes.
Mr. Flaherty?
Yes, motion carries. On to the Union Village Interceptor cleaning. Who would like to speak to this? Welcome.
To the President, if I may,
Yes.
why did this start? Why are these things all over the place? Some people want to do the work, some people don't.
Apparently the 103 don't want to do the work. He was awarded the bid actually 2 years ago when I did the first mile of pipe. And this part here is on the other side of Greenville Road through the swamps, down the power lines. He came out here for the walkthrough. I recommended a walkthrough. He came out, Veolia, the other company was from Connecticut. He didn't come out for the walkthrough.
Did Veolia come through?
Yes, he did, yeah.
Okay. And is there anything in your, excuse me?
No, I think that's fine.
No, that's fine. Is there any reason that we would think that the low bidder here can't perform the work, or?
No, he's done work in this town for me previously.
Okay, so you're,
I'm comfortable with, yeah.
go ahead.
Good, just gonna make the motion.
Go ahead.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to award the,
I'd just like to state one other thing. On the back page of that, we have all the money from previous years, $47,969.58 left in that line item. And I requested in the bid additional, is to request a day rate. And Veolia and they bid a day rate of $2,500, so I'd like to go back to the first phase and do the side streets off that main line.
Do you have a total cost?
No, it'd be $2,500 a day, but I would use it out of this $47,000 money, if the council so calls, you know.
Well, now you're confusing me. You know what I would prefer to do is that we approve the 24,992, and then you come back with a list of what you think the approximate cost is gonna be, and maybe get something from them, and we can see if we
Okay.
can do that too. I just don't wanna say, like, yeah, let's just use up the account.
No, it's
No
just that
offense,
that
no.
item was listed in that bid, the bid packet,
All right,
so that's why,
I mean, I don't mind doing it in stages. You can come back next meeting if you want, but I think we should do the 24,992, get that out of the way, and then if you wanna come back with a list with their concurrence at $2,500 a day for the additional stuff, that'd be fine with me.
okay.
So we have a motion.
what did we actually make the motion?
Did you make, you are going to make a motion.
Yeah, it was. Okay, so I'd like to make a motion to approve Union Village Interceptor cleaning in the amount of $24,992 Foster Viola Water under the recommendation of the town administrator, the finance director, the director of public works, and the superintendent of water and sewer. Did I miss anybody? Okay, that's the motion.
Motion by Councilor Zawinski, seconded by Councilor Yazbek. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, a roll call vote, please.
Selves? Yes. Stuckey?
Yes.
Yazbek?
Yes.
Mr. Zalinski?
Yes.
Flaherty?
Yes, and finally on to road salt.
I'd like to exercise our right under the State of Rhode Island Master Price Agreement for the salt bid. Last year's price was $55.83. I believe it's the same price, and it's an extension of the contract from last year. With me reading it, it looks like it's $56.12 a ton, but like I said, we paid the $55.83, so it will not exceed the $56.12 that I believe it states.
Mr. President, I have a motion to approve the master pricing agreement for salt in the amount not to exceed $56.12 a ton.
Motion by Councilor Zawinski. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Yazbek. Any discussion?
Just let the record show us, based upon the recommendation of the Public Works Director and the Town Administrator.
Roll call vote, please.
Selves? Yes. Stuckey?
Yes.
Yazbek?
Yes.
Mr. Zalinski?
Yes.
Flaherty?
Yes, motion carries. I'm going to go back now to old business item D, discussion by council vote or other action on submittal of written plan that corresponds to final facilities plan as adopted by the town council on October 6, 2014. On that evening, when we did make the final change to the facilities plan, I didn't formally submit something in writing, so I did, I think back when we did it in August, submitted something as Exhibit A. We all have this plan in our packets, and it just it represents the latest vote of the town council. I just thought it would be important to have a copy on record, so I was going to submit it as Exhibit B. I don't know if it needs a motion unless.
I'll make that motion, Mr. President.
Motion by Councilor Zawinski. Is there a second? Second by.
I'm sorry, what is it?
The motion is to have the town clerk receive as Exhibit B the latest
Cost of renovation.
plan as adopted by the town council on October 6th. Motion by Councilor Zawinski. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Alves. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, a roll call vote, please.
Selves? Yes. Stuckey?
Yes.
Yazbek?
No.
Mr. Zalinski?
Yes.
Flaherty?
Yes, motion is 4-1. And at this time, we have two items that look like they are, at least one of them is time sensitive, and that is new business item E, discussion by council vote or other action on authorization for emergency generator repairs. Now we go.
This was brought to my attention several weeks ago from the police department. The generator is constantly breaking down. Preventative maintenance isn't cutting it in certain areas. There's a whole list of things that have to be repaired there. Going into the winter, I don't think I have to explain that if this generator goes down, EMA, the police department, and the Atlantic building is down. So we have a contract with Power Equipment that services all the generators for all our municipal buildings, and I believe that we need to get this done right away. I spoke to the owner of the company. This is something that can be done in the next month. It's not like it has to be done tomorrow, but it has to be done.
Any questions from the council? Any further additions?
I just wanted to add that this is also part of the accreditation, believe it or not, and of the police department. This was one of the items that they had to have in good working order, and they would get, or wouldn't get their accreditation as quickly as they're planning on doing it if it isn't done in the next month.
Is there a reason, I'm looking at the wording of the memo saying that the finance director is recommending permission be granted by the town council president to the town administrator per chapter 6 of the the town's charter to authorize the necessary emergency repairs. Why wouldn't that just be the town council?
That paragraph was done by myself. And the reason for that was before the president of this company got back to me, the option that we were going to have after my discussions with the police department was that the generator had to be fixed right away.
Okay.
After talking to him, I probably should have deleted that whole paragraph altogether,
Okay.
so there's no need for that at all.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Pendergast?
Motion to approve is recommended with the funding out of the regular contingency account.
Motion by Councilor Yazbek, is there a second? Second by Councilor McGee, is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Bell, Mr. McGee,
Yes.
Mr. Yazbek,
Yes.
Mr. Zalinski,
Yes.
Mr. Flaherty.
Yes, motion carries. At this time, I will note that it is 9 p.m. exactly, when we said we were going to be ending. And the only item that is, other than the potential zoning regulatory violations, the only other item that we would need to act on is discussion by council or other action on authorization to sell surplus items. I don't know how pressing this is.
It'll take me 30 seconds to explain.
Okay. Council wish to proceed with this last item?
Yeah, well, let's just make a motion to continue to 9:10, Mr. President.
I don't think we have to. because
We're at
it's
9
not-
right now.
It's a voluntary ending time, not
Oh,
a
okay.
curfew.
All right.
So, Mr. Pendergast.
We just conducted a surplus bid auction for all the junk, for a better term, that we have at Public Works. Everything was sold to individuals and companies totaling almost $6,000. I just need permission from the council to release this property to these people.
Question. Right, some of these vehicles, are they police vehicles?
Yes,
So all the lights have been removed?
yes,
How about decals?
yes.
Okay.
And actually, I made it part of the agreement, whoever bought any of the uniform vehicles that had the decals, that they had to be removed, right?
The paint scheme as well?
Yes, we've already gone through this.
My only thought on it is that by doing it locally, we don't have a very big market. And it's come to my attention that there's a organization called Municipid, where organizations put their surplus equipment, but you've got a much larger market. And I don't know how it compares in terms of, I've printed a page if anybody's interested in it. I don't know what the council's pleasure is, but I just wanted to know whether this is something that we considered before. Is there a
Yes.
reason? Yeah, okay.
And I have. And to be quite honest with you, nobody's gonna buy this stuff except scrap companies. There was one vehicle that's operational, and that's the one that went for $1,400, the one-ton dump truck.
Okay.
Other than that, the companies that come in are basically recycling scrap companies, taking it from $450 to $500. So, if there was some really good stuff, I would really consider that, because that is a good option.
Okay.
Motion to approve as presented, sale of surplus equipment to those listed for the amounts bid.
Motion by Councilor Yazbek, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Zalinski, is there any discussion?